Number 6, doom scrolling dopamine trap. You've probably guaranteed to have experienced doom scrolling. Maybe you were laying in bed reading on Twitter or Instagram, constantly refreshing and scrolling. Then you look at the clock and 2 hours flew by. Congratulations, you've just got a little dumber. And it's actually not that surprising considering over 1 billion people spend an average of 3 hours daily scrolling. It's gotten so infectiously ingrained in our society that the Oxford University Press named brain rot the word of 2024. Scientists says that doom scrolling leads to emotional desensitization, cognitive overload, and negative self-concept. Your amygdala sends constant stress signals urging you to scan for threats, while dopamine rewards discovering new information, creating an addictive feedback loop. Repeated exposure to threat based content overstimulates your limbic system, triggering prolonged stress with elevated cortisol that impairs cognitive functions like reasoning and memory through prefrontal cortex fatigue and hippocampal disruption. A study found a 13% increase in depression risk for every extra hour spent on social media. And scans show people spending more time on social apps had significantly lower dopamine synthesis capacity in brain regions involved in reinforcement learning. Social media platforms employ sophisticated algorithms using suggestions, autoplay, pull to refresh, and infinite scrolling to keep you trapped in a continuous loop. Next time you find yourself glued to your phone, lost in a trance, be aware you're literally making yourself dumber. Make effort and create guardrails like time limits. Your future self will thank you. Number 5, consuming short form content. Started from Vine, and now we're here. Flooded by short form content and media that's been popularized by Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok. And it's pretty much the norm with YouTube Shorts averaging over 200 billion views daily. In a 2025 systematic review that analyzed data from multiple studies, found that engaging with short form videos is associated with poor mental health and cognitive functioning. The research revealed a moderate negative association between short form video engagement and cognitive performance. Higher levels of use were linked to poorer attention span and reduced inhibitory control, meaning people who consumed short form content frequently were shown to have more difficulty focusing on tasks and suppressing impulsive reactions. The analysis assessed outcomes across cognition and mental health, which included things like memory, executive functions, attention, depression, anxiety, stress, sleep quality, and self-esteem. And it shows that even moderate engagement with these platforms is linked to deficits in attention and increased feelings of anxiety, stress, and depression. The algorithms are designed to maximize engagement by serving content rapidly, preventing your brain from processing information deeply. Your prefrontal cortex, responsible for complex thinking, gets bypassed as you passively consume bite-sized content. Every swipe trains your brain to expect instant gratification and reject sustained focus. When you watch 30-second videos for an hour, you're teaching your brain that attention spans longer than 30 seconds are unnecessary, and short-form content is pretty much filtered and curated surface-level understanding. So you truly have zero depth of knowledge on whatever the subject may be. Scientists says this is the first time in human history that a generation is less intelligent than their parents. So in a way, we are collectively regressing and deteriorating the intelligence of humanity. Number 4, dependency and over-reliance on AI. Recent research warns that excessive dependence on AI tools is creating a pattern of cognitive offloading that diminishes critical thinking skills. A 2023 study found that people who routinely use AI for tasks like writing, problem solving, and research show reduced ability to perform those tasks independently. Scientists call this de-skilling, which occurs when humans delegate cognitive tasks to machines and lose the neural pathways associated with those skills. The brain operates on a use it or lose it principle. When you outsource thinking, the neural connections responsible for analysis, creativity, and problem solving weaken. Researchers found that students who used AI to complete assignments performed significantly worse on tests requiring independent thought compared to students who completed work manually. The concern isn't that AI makes you dumb immediately, it's that it creates a dependency loop. You rely on it because it's faster, which makes your natural abilities atrophy, which then makes you rely on it even more. The goal is to use it as a tool to assist, improve, and extend your capabilities, not replace them. If you can't solve a problem without it, you've already lost the skill. The capabilities and intelligence is only going to get better and better, so learn to utilize it properly and effectively, and avoid delegating your cognition or using it as a replacement for thinking. Number three, eating ultra processed foods. Ultra processed foods, including sweet and savory snacks, cereals, ice cream, sweetened beverages, processed meats, and ready to eat frozen meals, make up around 58% of calories in the average American diet. These foods are convenient and affordable, but they're high in unhealthy fats, sugars, and additives that trigger inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain. A 2022 study found that those with the highest intake of ultra processed foods showed a 28% faster cognitive decline and a 25% faster decline in executive functions. Neuroimaging studies suggest that eating these foods regularly may lead to shrinkage in gray matter volume, particularly in the left hippocampus, the brain region critical for memory formation. Processed foods are linked to increased levels of circulating pro inflammatory cytokines and oxidative stress, which can contribute and lead to chronic diseases. Chronic neuroinflammation can impair axonal regeneration, neuronal regrowth, and remyelination, resulting in neurological dysfunction that can increase likelihood of disorders like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Even short exposures to high fat, high sugar diets impair memory. Every time you eat processed junk, you're choosing temporary convenience over long term brain health. Your brain is literally what you eat. Stop contaminating it with junk. Number two, excessive screen time. Hours of scrolling may be shrinking your brain. Recent studies suggest that extensive screen time may have detrimental effects on cognitive development, especially in younger generations. High levels of screen time are associated with decreased gray matter in prefrontal regions, which is responsible for things like movement and memory. People who engage in excessive online activities like surfing the web, gaming, gambling, shopping, and social media show structural brain changes and reduced gray matter in several areas, including prefrontal and orbitofrontal cortical layers, which are involved in decision making, planning, and emotional regulation. Too much screen time during brain developmental years may delay its development and even lead to digital dementia. When you spend 6 hours staring at screens, you're training your brain to operate in a state of constant distraction. You're reducing your capacity for deep focus, complex reasoning, and sustained attention. Put the phone down, stop chasing the easy dopamine hits, and let your brain recover. Start implementing small habits. Resist the urge to look at your phone first thing in the morning and the last thing at night. If you can manage this, you're already smarter than majority of the population. Number one, not getting enough sleep. Sleep deprivation is one of the fastest ways to make yourself literally dumber. During sleep, the brain processes and consolidates memories, strengthens neural connections, and integrates new information. Sleep deprivation creates an imbalance between the task-related default mode network and the frontoparietal network, both crucial for focus and attention. Consistent lack of sleep leads to irregular neural activity, affecting concentration and working memory. Studies show that sleep-deprived individuals are slower and less precise in cognitive tasks, with reduced activation in key brain regions like the parahippocampal, which processes and recognizes visual scenes, and the frontoparietal cortex, which coordinates working memory, task switching, and decision making. Sleep deprivation can cause brief off periods in cortical neurons during waking hours when they stop firing, leading to lapses in focus and cognitive function. A 2024 National Institutes of Health guide links sleep deprivation and sleep quality to midlife cognitive risks. Getting less than 7 hours consistently is associated with cognitive decline holistically. Don't be fooled by the people that say they sleep 5 to 6 hours a day and built a successful life. Because if they get quality sleep for 7 to 8 hours, they'll probably be way more successful. And a night of poor sleep affects your brain like it's being poisoned, deteriorating its capacity to function optimally and severely impairing neuroplasticity. So prioritize sleep like your life depends on it, unless you want to be a dumber version of yourself. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to see more.